The average salary of an Ironman finisher is over $100,000.
Would love to dive into the community that you're building.
What we're trying to do is foster a community of people that want to push each other to be better.
What was the key motivation that actually got you to do that?
I decided, fuck it, I need to just do something hard.
You've now done so many different events.
I've always been quite ambitious with goals and how I approach life, but I lost that due to drugs and alcohol. I think I was definitely at a very low point in my life. The pain of staying the same and doing what I was doing hurt more than the pain of changing.
Max, welcome to the Double Triple Tech Sales Podcast. How are you getting into tech? Building tech.
Absolutely.
My first thing to kick things off is you've woken up at a bender. You have $1,000 missing from your wallet. And next thing you wake up, and I'm very interested to see where that $1,000 went.
Oh, well, it depends what $1,000 we're missing. But
That was.
yeah, but if I think I know what moment you're referring to, that would have been back in New Zealand, like 5-6 years ago. Woke up after a pretty big night out at the casino. So naturally some money was missing, but there was a single big expense, and that was I can't even remember the exact name. I had to search it up, and it turned out I bought a ticket to an Ironman 70.3 with no ability to ride a bike or swim, and very hungover and a bit confused what had just happened.
Yeah, and it's like kind of basically, we'll get into the story as well, but it's almost set this journey of, building Rocket today. And it's, your goal by the end of this year is, right, is to have 10,000 people basically cross the finish line, which I'm super inspired by. And, I've obviously been watching you from afar, and for the folks on, keen to jump into your story, but you have a great following online. And from when I started my half Ironman journey, I think you and Josh were like one of the first two people in Australia that I was following, part of my experience as well. And I did the Western Sydney 70.3.
Yeah.
And, I had, from that event, I had the worst fear from swimming, because it was like, it terrified me. I actually went to stop 5 times. Like, I never felt like I couldn't catch my breath of anxiety and stress in the water. And I don't keen be to touch on this, but I think you actually came out a couple months later where you had maybe a little bit of fear from that same event around the swimming element as well.
Yeah, open water swimming is terrifying. First time if you've never done it. I mean, we're lucky based here in Sydney. We get to swim with the beautiful beaches and it's crystal clear, but Western Sydney is freezing and you can't see your ham.
That was murky water. And it's a classic, like what they say when you do a half Ironman. It's like, don't practice just in a pool. And it's like, I practiced a bit in the ocean, but a lake. Didn't really practice in a lake.
Yeah, no, it was freezing. I think that's very common for a lot of beginner triathletes. And yeah, anyone getting into the sport, open water swimming to begin with is daunting, because you don't have the safety of the lane rope or the edge of the pool. You're out there in the open. But I think that's why a lot of people love the sport so much, is you're constantly going up with the unknown and fears and overcoming them and becoming more resilient, which is why I think a lot of, you guys probably see it as well in your domain. I think the average salary of an Ironman finisher is like over $100,000. And I guess you can interpret that two ways. You've got one end where it's because only wealthy people do Ironmans, or it's because the type of person that signs up to something like that is more inclined to take risks and put themselves in uncomfortable positions, and maybe they're better off like financially or career because of it.
No, totally. I think I myself, in terms of sport and doing fitness events, and we've done the backyard ultras and things like that, but it definitely drew me to a point in always sport has come back for me when I've been struggling like mentally, or whether it was like addiction to alcohol or something like that. And I felt like doing the half Ironmans last year actually gave me a purpose again that I'd been missing from, stop doing sport really from high school days. You sort of go through that journey when you leave school, and then you sort of start to figure yourself out again. And it really gave me that community that I was really missing inside that. And I guess, Max, can you share your experience going into the half Ironmans, but you've now done so many different events, but would love to dive into the community that you're building.
Yeah, for sure. It's probably, we can start with Rocket.
Yeah.
Because that is the now. And what we're trying to do is foster a community of people that want to push each other to be better. And it's across multiple domains. It's not just triathlon. It's not just running. It's not just strength. It's endurance and strength intelligently combined. The app will be a vehicle to help people sort of achieve their goals. But what we really want is people at these events pushing each other on, whether you're a rocket athlete or not, it doesn't matter. That energy you feel at events, like we were just at Gold Coast Marathon and we parked up at 33 and 39 Ks. So like,
that's awesome.
The worst part of the marathon.
Yeah, the 30.
Like when you get past 30, it's just like you're in the trenches, and we just made sure we're giving out high fives, laughs, cheers, and we had hundreds of people message us being like that, like literally picked us up right when we needed it. So, Brady and I are just two, and, you touched on the goal of 10,000 by the end of this year, and I'd love to do 1 million by 2030. I think until you see someone do it at an event, like get up, scream at someone, like get them out of that mental block that they've put themselves in, where they're like, I'm in pain, this hurts, and you get a chair, you got your name on your bib, you say, come on Kayla, let's fucking go, and then they just like lift up and they keep going. And I think a lot of people have a handbrake in their head that pulls long before they're like physically able to, well, they can physically keep going, right? But mentally they're like, nah. And I think we want to try build a community that helps people realize that they're pulling the handbrake early, and we want them to keep pushing, if that makes any sense.
That's awesome.
Max, if you take us back that 5-6 years ago when you woke up and you'd bought the half Ironman ticket, what was the key motivation that actually got you to do that? And how has the journey unfolded for you in the 6-year period?
What got me doing it? I think I was definitely at a very low point in my life, and for some reason I thought I needed to do something that scared me and challenged me. So I think that's where the ticket came from. It was early social media days where people were starting to get into the sport. It's nothing like it is now. Like, I think it's very common on socials to see people doing 70.3s and Ironmans, but for me personally, I've always been quite ambitious with goals and how I approach life, but I lost that for a few years, like due to drugs and alcohol, and it just was a downward spiral. And it wasn't until a few things really went wrong all at the same time that I was in a position where I think the pain of staying the same and doing what I was doing hurt more than the pain of changing and turning life around. So it was probably I was at a crossroad where I decided, fuck it, I need to just do something hard.
I get the feeling you're a bit of an all-in person, and there's always this quote that comes back for me with archetypes like you, which is like you very much toe the line between destruction and brilliance. And so you got to choose the one. So it sounds like you've almost calibrated, right? And sort of that's what that journey has meant to you, is actually over this 6-year journey now, like you're a leader in the community. People are also finding endurance racing, and now you've built something like really special, and it's really cool to see you get to the point where you're now launching into the community that comes with it, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Also on the app side, like from watching from afar and being in the space in terms of, tech, like I'm so interested by what you're doing, and I'm excited to jump into the journey of like going through the journey of building a tech app, because it's not easy.
Yeah.
And almost like it's getting easier because of the technology, but if you really have a live production software, it's at scale. It's very different to like a vibe coded app. And so that whole experience, what you are building, like you have whether it is the Strava or the runner, it really is missing an app in the world of like being able to do the strength and conditioning, whether it is signing up for an event 3 weeks out, whether it is the half Ironman, the backyard ultra, or the half marathon. And so it's like really exciting what you guys are building there. Tell us about the experience the past 6 months. And the reason I ask this and come from this is because we started a business 6 months ago, and I probably had come off the fittest I'd ever been last year. Frankly, like this is the unfittest I've also been building the business the past 6 months, and I wasn't expecting that. Kind of was, kind of wasn't.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize how mentally taxing it would be when going all in on the business. And so how's that journey been for you the past 6 months?
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think taking something from an idea to whether it's a physical product or a business where you service clients from zero is a really big task, and I think a lot of people might overlook how hard it really is. And just speaking from my experience with Rocket, I've had a handful of coaches help from a like training philosophy and like program sessions and safety governance and all the things that should go into something that supports athletes across multiple disciplines. But then there's also the tech side, which is like all of these tech stack that we've used to build the app. And I have no technical knowledge or very limited, so I don't know how to code. Understanding how to communicate information from here, where you've got coaches, to engineers over here, and being that like middleman for the information going both ways. And now that we're live, receiving information from users and then making sure that it gets peer reviewed and spat back out. It's a lot for the brain to, I guess, like process on a daily basis. And in terms of the fitness side, I've had to pull out of 2 races this year. I just raced Ironman 70.3 Cairns off the back of, I was training 3 hours a week on average all year. So I ended up going okay. I was pretty happy with the result, but I think it's just life goes through seasons, and this season has taught me more than probably anything in my entire life, because I've also got a relationship. I've also just been diagnosed with ADHD, and I think that really came out. That diagnosis came out of the stress that I was under, and like the thing it taught me about fitness is a tool to help you clear your mind and show up better every day. You don't necessarily have to have a huge goal like a 70.3 in the calendar. You could have your local 10K, or it could just be to go to the gym 4 times a week. But I think any type of movement in the morning is important in order to like make that stress, I guess, manageable. But yeah, I think it's a huge amount of sacrifice going from zero to like launching the product. And I think everything in my life took a hit. It wasn't just fitness, it was my relationships. I saw my mates for the first time in 6 months on Tuesday.
How's that pressure, or I guess how have you been on yourself in terms of that whole experience? Because I also can imagine going from, whether it is training every day, and you mentioned seasons of your life and chapters, are you kind on yourself through those moments and everything, even being diagnosed with ADHD, and how have you sort of handled that element of that chapter of your life?
Kind on myself. Maybe.
Yeah.
I often have people telling me to slow down. So
Yeah.
that'd be my weakness. But your body eventually forces you to. You either get sick or you feel like you're about to burn out, and then you've got no choice. So it's probably still something I'm working on, to be honest.
Yeah. You're doing an Ironman event at the end of the year at Kona. How's that all shaping up at the moment? Well, how do you see that event? Because I appreciate every event can be like your main event for the year, but it also can be a celebration. How are you finding that the next 6 months?
Yeah, well, I've changed the way that I view races now. I used to always think that if I'm going to the start line of a race, I need to get a PB. I need to be getting better. But I think having gone through this season and realizing that like I can't train 15 hours a day and show up to work and be present in the work that I'm doing, because if I'm training that much, realistically, I'm like a bit of a potato when it gets to 3 o'clock and I'm tired and like I don't have the output as I normally would. So I think it's about picking or choosing how you want to arrive at the race, and whether it's like I'm going to be there to get a PB, or I'm going to be there and really enjoy the atmosphere. And I think that's what a lot of people wrong on their first race is they put so much pressure on themselves. Like, this has to go well. My pacings, if they're not like what coach said they should be, I'm failing, I'm behind. They're worried about the whole thing. They're not actually enjoying the day for what it is. And I think for Kona, like, given that this year's training hasn't been optimal, I'll have to go into it with the open mind that like I still would like to set a goal, and like I think I can get in sub 10 shape. So I think I just need to make sure I do what I can to get there. But there's probably no PB on the cards this time. I think a lot of people put too much pressure on themselves, and then it's not a nice experience. Well, it's not as nice as if you just enjoy it, focus on what's in your control, training.
Max, congratulations on actually launching Rocket only recently at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
Tell us about the experience. I'd love to know, you've put all this hard yards into actually building the community, the app, everything that you're building under the business. How did the launch go? Did it exceed expectations, give us the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, let's go full entrepreneurial spec here. I'd love to hear all about it.
Oh, well, depends where we're showing this.
We can always cut things out. Bloopers reel.
Look, I think the launch went well, but it could have gone a lot better. We have a product that's had amazing feedback, and we've refined through a user acceptance testing phase. So for the last 3 weeks, we like soft launched to beta users.
Yeah, nice.
And they were able to help us squash like any, I guess, like systemic failures or critical bugs.
Yeah.
And then it got to a point where we're like, okay, we're now ready to go to market. I don't think I'll ever feel ready, but I spoke to a few friends who have launched products, and they were like, look, you just need to go fuck it, ship it, max.
Yeah, for sure. Those just like, it never comes.
Yeah, you'll always be
Well, you never
waiting
get
for
the feedback.
perfection. And
Yeah.
you never
Testing
get the
and
feedback
iterating.
at scale. So
Hand on hot stove.
yeah, literally. We the first beta launch, I was up at 1, and we launched it because that was what I'd agreed. And there were actually Aussies and Kiwis that set their alarm, got up and downloaded it, which
Legend.
is insane.
Oh, good.
And we had a similar, I guess, response at the actual launch, but it was meant to go live at 8 p.m. this Monday this week. And we hit a few roadblocks. The biggest one, which is out of my control and probably more a technical fault, but the server crashed. And my understanding is that's okay 10 years ago, but nowadays people should have auto scaling on, and it should be able to take as many users that come in. And so we had over 1,000 people try get in, and only 200 made it.
Crazy. The demand is through the roof.
I think from a distribution perspective, I think we're doing quite well. So sales and marketing are strong, but they haven't been given the opportunity to really shine yet. And I think it's all part of the journey. Like every single day we've failed in some way, but you learn and then you improve and you adapt. But it is embarrassing when you launch like for the first time and your servers crash and people can't get in, and all they want to do is try the app, and you get amazing feedback from people that do get in, and other people see that and they want to get in, and then the servers are just like they cannot handle it. And so we've obviously upgraded the servers, and that won't happen again now that we've got auto scaling on. But yeah, I think it was very frustrating. I won't lie. Like,
Oh yeah, totally. I feel like it's like the whole evergreen thing, but it's like you're just always solving problems or dealing with the next bottleneck, or it's like testing and adjusting here is inevitably like the journey of the founder or the entrepreneur, which like it feels like you're living every day at the moment.
Yeah.
Especially with the tech platform. So
How do you find as a founder now? Are you enjoying the process of building a business more, or when you first went on the journey of trying to go sub 10 in an Ironman?
and how am I finding it now that I?
Well, I guess like
launched?
because like I feel you've now launched the business. How does that like comparison of like locking into one thing and like this is now sort of your chapter of life building something versus like maybe locking into the sub 10 Ironman that you first did?
Yeah, I think this all stems from the ADHD thing, as I just have an idea and then I obsess over it and I hyper focus when I can. Obviously, it's very easy for me to get distracted, but when I am like locked in on something, it's like all in 100%. And yeah, I see Rocket as a 10-year journey. I want to be using the app now and in 10 years as I go through my season. So like, I'm in triathlon now, but I might want to go through a bodybuilding phase, or I might want to go through a high rocks phase. Like I want Rocket to be there and grow with me as I adapt and grow as an athlete. But yeah, it is kind of exciting knowing that right now it's me and my business partner, and he's only been around for the last like 4 weeks in this role that he's in. And then like the devs are contractors, so they're not really like in the company as such, but I still see them daily and we do our thing there. But yeah, looking at what the future holds, it's crazy to think that. I believe we'll hit that 1 million by 2030, and then along the way we'll be picking up team members. I think Sydney will be our home, and that's where our office will be. But like we're a global movement. We don't just want to like constrain ourselves to the Sydney or Australian market. I quite like to travel the world and meet people. But I think at the core of all of it, I just want to work with people that I enjoy being around and help people be better. And I think that's such a privileged position to be.
It's Brady, your business partner, right?
Yeah.
I think you and Brady come across on social media like the most authentic, fun guys online, and how you post your stuff. And I think that's obviously going to show with, you know, having 1,000 people just wanting to join the app on basically beta. And so how have you thought about social media content game, which obviously enables a business to grow as well? How's that journey been for you, posting your life on social media?
Well, it started off really fun, and I was doing it all for me. And I'd had my 9-to-5 job. I worked in corporate as a project manager, and then moved into sales. I went from project management to sales, and then into my coaching business, and now to Rocket. And what was the question? Oh, content. So I started that content journey like 9 to 5 doing an Ironman, and then before the 9 to 5 being a Degenerate and having that story, and people jumped on because they found it relatable and wanted to try something the same. And obviously content has unlocked, or it's opened a lot of doors. So I've traveled around the world with different brands now, and like along the way I've shared my journey, but since starting Rocket, I've now evolved a lot since I started, and it doesn't feel the same as when it did, which doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing, but I think I need to bite the bullet and, like, I guess, go to my audience. I'm still the same person. I have the same values,
Totally.
but I just do different things now, and it's less so about the Ironman racing and more so about the business. And I'd love to talk more about my relationship online and probably my journey with ADHD as that evolves. But the algorithm does confine you a little bit, which is, I think, the hard part. At least that's how I experience it. So maybe when I make posts that I want to make for me, they might not perform as well. And having, I guess, being a content creator and having been paid by brands in the past, you do see those likes and the engagement. And if it goes down, you almost devalue yourself. But I think it's about not doing that and having that relationship. But it's common with all the creators that
Totally.
I know. If you have a video that doesn't do well, you like, oh, am I like
Yeah.
not in this
I'm done.
anymore? I'm done my entire...
Yeah, I think that's the most empowering thing that you're doing right now with building your own business and app as well, because like you don't have to, you know, it's a balance, right, of like the influence of brands versus building your own thing, and then therefore you can continuously create the pieces of content that you want, because ultimately you need to keep feeding the energy that's going to keep getting you up and enjoying the content creation piece. But I've definitely, you know, I've gone through probably my third evolution as well now with the content and it's like I'm exactly the same person, characteristics, but it's just like the same post doesn't get you excited, but that's what sort of got you to that next following count. And so you kind of got to go through that sucky moment of maybe lower views to then get to that next bridge. But the classic Yatrios fans will, I think, want to see more of that side. And I've been one of those people that have been following you for well over a year, right? And it's like interesting the ADHD stuff, building the business side. So I very much look forward to hopefully seeing more of that content as well.
Yeah, thanks. It makes me feel better.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't know how to post or talk about it, but I think I'm just now stuck in that phase of not, and now there's just a loop where it's like acceptable that I'm not posting daily, and it's just gone to weekly. And I think I just do need to go through that evolution and really like align the two brands, Rocket and To The Maxi. But like, again, that needs to be done carefully, because Rocket's a business that's got its own brand, if that makes sense. And I don't want people to associate one directly with the other, more of an indirect.
I'm keen to just ask if you're thinking about content maybe slightly differently, or that evolution you mentioned, Max, because of course, like, you know, the monetization as a content creator traditionally comes with the brand endorsements, and that's how you make the money on the social media platforms. But it's like you've moved into founder mode and you're running a business now with Rocket, and that comes with its business model. And of course, Rocket has its own brand, and you're the founder, and there's obviously a brand with To The Maxi.
Yeah.
But I'm really interested and curious to know if you're starting to think about content and content marketing maybe in a slightly different way, where you are sort of the monetization model could look a little bit different in the future because you now are using content to build a business.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really big shift that I see on the platforms for people that have large audiences, but they might be the broke content creator and they haven't, everyone's sort of pushing for that. But I feel like there's a really strong pull and almost an argument in my eyes anyways, that if you're purpose about the content marketing and you actually build a business around that, it's like a different way to think about it. I'm just curious if that's like coming across for you at the moment, just given where you are at in the journey and maybe the mindset and the evolution with that. And of course, it's like a different strategy and there's a business model under it. But I'd love to hear your perspective, like, you know, as a content creator now moving into being a business owner. It's like it's a bit of a different world.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think having a personal brand is very powerful in this day and age. And I like grew up through corporate, didn't have an Instagram necessarily that I used, but I would try get connections on LinkedIn, right?
Yeah.
And I like remember when I had 500 connections on LinkedIn.
Wow. Like, slow down.
500 plus.
Yeah.
We've made it.
And I was like, shit, okay,
Are we connected on LinkedIn? Where's To The Maxi on LinkedIn?
He needs to get on there. He's still got his corporate tie, suit and tie.
You show up on platforms differently too, right?
Yeah, I think you have to. And I think the marketing strategy for To The Maxi, as much as it is like, it's for me, how it should be viewed as a top of funnel for Rocket. And like there are multiple ways you can monetize off a personal brand. One is through brand deals, and depending on where you're located in the world, these will pay very differently. And depending on what brand you're working with, they'll have very different structures. And you need to understand like who you want to get in bed with and if it ties in well with your personal brand. And I have friends that solely rely on brand deals as their main source of income. And I instead built a one-on-one coaching business and scaled that, and that became my main source of income. And I had two running in parallel, and I was in, you know, a good financial position. And now with Rocket coming into the world, and that being my like, you know, 5-10 year plan, it's now being a founder, you are very time poor. You have very limited time and resources. So I guess the question I've been asking myself is like, do I continue doing these brand deals? What happens to the one-on-one coaching business? And like realistically, what's the best output or outcome for Rocket? And I think that will be changing the strategy, probably going back to my roots, like how I started posting on To The Maxi, very like educational content that puts you in as like a position of authority in the space. And then people will naturally go onto your page. To The Maxi is the top of funnel. They'll see the only thing in the bio is join Rocket. There'll be some collab posts, and that will take them to like where they ultimately should be training, if that makes sense, if they're curious enough. But I think also showing up authentically and like sharing that journey, and not just about the training, you know, my life as well. And, you know, some people won't be interested in that at all. I just want the training, but that's okay. So yeah, I think the marketing strategy hasn't fully been unpacked. There's like a gut feel of where it should be going, but I think it's part of the evolution is pivoting to, I guess, where the eyes are and what's best for the page.
Evolving, at least. Yeah. Exciting times. Excited to see it evolve.
Yeah.
Also, just from an outsider's perspective, and I don't know if this is helpful or not, but like as you go through maybe your next evolution of creating content, how I think about, you know, joining the training app and yourself as a personal brand is like, I think regardless of outside of the, you know, PBs or whatever you've done, I really think about you as like high vibe, great community to be a part of. And like, regardless of like the stats or metrics or even what event I'm training for, I feel like I'm getting a community. Well, that's you as a leader, that's what you bring. And so like, I feel like how I've consumed yourself over content, it's being very raw and honest. And therefore like you continue double down on that. I think you'll continue to build that brand and continue being successful in that sense as well. But yeah, very exciting times. What I want to touch on as well, and you made a post about this, so maybe you're comfortable sharing. You don't have to share too much, but it's like you've taken a big bet investing in the app as well. So how has that been for you? I guess you just said then you're sort of looking at the coaching business, brand deals, and this. How has that shaped up, and how are you thinking about that at the moment?
Well, I think it's very much been a burn the boats situation. So it didn't
Dave's
start.
favourite saying.
So good. Burn the boats. It's so good, eh?
I think there's the what do they say? The ship that waits for the perfect wind never sails. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like a separate analogy, but also in the boat cluster of analogies. I think I was very hesitant at the start to go all in on Rocket, and so I had support on my other business to help manage that operationally while I was all in on Rocket. But as time has gone on, I've realized that this is where I want to take my future. I've not only bet my time on it, but also my finances. And having worked in construction, I was used to seeing very large invoices coming in, hundreds of thousands of dollars, and then invoicing clients for millions on some projects. But it was very unusual receiving very large invoices, like 30, 40K in one payment. And you're like, oh, wow, okay. And then you're like, okay, well, I've got some money in shares, and I've got my savings, and I've got money in a fund, and it's like, okay, what's the runway? And it was the first time I've ever looked at it and be like, oh, okay, well, I could really survive for X months and without any revenue. And when you have a launch date that's locked in and then it blows out by 2 or 3 months, you start seeing that runway go down, and you're just like, oh shit, well, this better work.
Yeah.
And it becomes more and more real every step of the way. But I think you just need to have self-belief and literally burn the boats and make sure that you're all in on this and making sure it works, rather than being 1 foot in, 1 foot out, which is how I started it. Now it's just it's got to be.
Totally. Yeah.
What it will be.
We just went through that exact moment of burning the boats and left our roles. And it sounded like, though, you've done it in a nice, approachable way as well, looking at mapping out your finances to know the run rate, which we sort of did ourselves as well. I guess, Max, to round out the conversation and everything, and this is not to rush this topic, this last question at all, but would you like to share and spread some light on your experience with getting diagnosed with ADHD and how that's gone for you the past, I don't know how long you've known about it, but handling that situation as well?
Yeah, I think it's all pretty new to me right now. And I've done a bit of research. I've also spoken to friends that have recently been diagnosed, and it's a double-edged sword. So it can be a superpower, and it has been for Rocket's evolution these last few months, but I think it also can lead to burnout. And I didn't realize, I honestly didn't, I thought I had it, and then when I learned about what actually it's like living with ADHD compared to someone who might not have it, it's a very different experience in life. I walk around with 50 tabs open in my head with alerts coming and then emails arriving in the inbox, and I'm trying to do one task, and all of a sudden I think about that other thing I haven't done, and then I end up doing that. I'm like, oh, well, I'll get a coffee before I do that, and on the way to the coffee machine I end up having a snack. I'm like, oh, actually, I'm kind of hungry. And then I end up at the supermarket. And all of a sudden, I was this one task that I was meant to do was completely just spiraled.
And now it's 2027. Yeah.
And now I'm launching a business.
Sounds familiar.
Max just lived my life yesterday. We should hang out more.
Yeah. I don't know how productive it'd be, but
we'd have a good time.
I think, it's going to be a journey that I'll have to learn how to manage and have tools in the toolkit. But I think for me, it's always starting the best days I have, I start with exercise, and then I get into a task sooner rather than later. If I do anything like high dopamine, maybe eat a sweet breakfast or open Instagram and doom scroll or something before my day, it's like that habit loop is opened for the day and it's gone. So it's just being disciplined in the mornings. And then again, this can backfire, and this is what happened over the last few months, is I can get so hyper focused and obsessed on one task. I'll not eat, I'll not train. It'll get to 8 p.m. and my beautiful partner's like, Max, when you're coming home, I'll come home and my brain's still in that really like high rev state, and it's hard for me to come out of it. So I'm looking at medicating, but I'll see how I go on it. I think the pressure of building Rocket has like definitely amplified the symptoms of ADHD, and I think post launch, now where we are, and I know where we will be in a few weeks, it'll take a bit of pressure off, and it'll mean that I can get more support around me, which means that like I'm not doing every single thing in the business, which is probably great for ADHD in some sense, because you can just task switch and but at the same time it's also really
exhausting.
Trying to do one thing.
If just out of curiosity, if you have you train and then you have like a free day and you have one meeting in the afternoon, will that like destroy your day, or will that just like you're good at like doing other stuff and then you'll lock in on that meeting that afternoon?
It depends.
Depends
what the meeting is.
Yeah. That is my worst like thing I'm trying to work on, is like if I have like one meeting at like 4 or 5 p.m, it's like I feel like I just got that meeting in like 8 hours time.
Yeah.
Just like nothing will get done to that. It's like I need my meetings in the morning, but then it's like I also, that one meeting in the afternoon could like ruin my whole day, but it's just like shouldn't be how it is. But it's just interesting how that all unfolds.
Yeah.
How we all learn how to cope with. I think my biggest experience going through the past couple of months is just like, whether you are in whether it's 9 to 5 or a role, or you have to rock up to a certain point, and then being founder mode, it's like really you get to, how do you build your life now autonomously in the most productive way, in quotes, whether it's a daily routine, weekly or monthly, of your output of getting things done. So definitely on that journey of figuring all that out at the moment.
What are you enjoying the most about it?
It's a great question. I feel like this is the first time I've been doing something, like, 'cause in tech, right, it was very selfish in terms of I definitely was doing it for building income, and I loved the career. Like it interested me, but it wasn't like I was saving lives in that sense. And literally when someone gets a role in tech and they've like literally doubled their income, like we cry or happy dance. And it's like actually really, because I was a personal trainer before, it almost like brings me back to the roots of like helping people in that way. And I feel like I'd missed that for a long time. So that's been the most rewarding thing. And then I just, we had a guest in before, and I said one of the questions were, what is the best time to leave? Or like, how do you know when's the next time to leave? And it's like earnings, or like if you're not earning or not learning. And it's not like I wasn't learning or like whatnot, but I was just so ready for that next challenge. And I got very good at sales, but now I'm like having to learn the marketing side, the fulfillment side. And so that is keeping me very engaged and interested in that sense. And I think the community we're building it's more rewarding than I thought it would be personally. But what about you, Gabe?
Yeah, lots of factors. That community thing, I think, is at the heart of it, and probably similar to like what we love observing, like Max and like you got a really strong community right, like around you. It's like for us to have brought a community together just really out of nowhere. Like, of course, I had a professional network, and you get a lot of reach and scale through the socials, and then of course like all the functional areas with building a business now, it's just like taking us to another level. But yeah, it's really cool to see like the heart of the person and helping people like transform their lives and come into like an industry that's like given me so much, coming out of the army and making a great career for myself in the tech world and in cyber. And it's like cool to be able to provide that access to people that would never have had exposure to it before. Speaking to someone in the double triple community who got a great tech sales role recently, he was just like, I wouldn't have even given it a crack. Like I wouldn't have even attempted to have this career because I just thought it was so out of reach. I always keep coming back to like that esoteric thing. But just like it's really cool from a customer perspective, but the community element and just like people.
Yeah.
But then of course like it's the ultimate test also selfishly from a capability perspective. Now I'm taking my skills and experiences working with Kay to build a business, which is not for the faint-hearted at all, totally relate to your experiences and just like the hardships and the solving the problems every day and the bottlenecks, and things are like going super well, and then an hour later it's like this big problem comes up. It's just like far out. There's no catching a break. It's just like, okay, well, Because the classic joke of like, you can leave the 9 to 5 and now you're working the 24/7. This is like proper founder mode. It's just like, it really teaches you sort of, you hold the mirror up and it really exposes who you are as well. And just like, I think also the opportunity just to continue developing as a person. For myself, I'm getting a lot of joy out of that too. Just working across the business. It's like, it's really rewarding in all facets at the same time as like choosing the hard thing to do. So
what's been the hardest? What's the most challenging part about the last 6 months?
Great question. I think those things of like, it's just constantly solving the problem, or there's like a new bottleneck that comes up, and we've just grown so quickly, like at a scale that like I knew it would be really successful, but it's like, it's really exceeded expectations in terms of the growth in the scale, the community, the reach. And it's almost like felt like it's forced me to really grow up in the sense of like, okay, the 3-year thing that's the normal pace is like, it happened in 3 months. And so that's just like really accelerated like the personal and the professional development and learning with that. And then also just the speed at which a real early stage venture startup moves at. Just like there's no, and as well, like I talk to Kayla about this too, but coming from my like a military background, you spend a lot of time doing an appreciation process, learning how to learn, and you've got mental maps and frameworks, and maybe tangentially to like project management, you have like a plan and like you manage it and stuff like that. And then it's just like classic, everyone's got a plan to get punched in the face, and it's like so true. With building a business, it's just like the plane goes out the window. There's no time for it. It's just like test and adjust. Maybe a bit of hand on hot stove, as opposed to like sort of mapping it out. But that's also the beauty of building like a startup too. So I think all those things.
Yeah. The hardest part is like, because we are the face, and I used to like check my Slack when I woke up, and like I would kind of go to work straight away, but it's just like a whole nother level of like, if you really check your Slack and you see like a problem, it's just like, it really can like ruin the morning type thing. Not ruin it in a bad way, but it's just like, oh my God, I want to get into it straight away now. But it's like, I haven't done my training, and I'm the same as you. It's like, if I don't train, like I literally am like a terrible person in terms of like, just like, I just don't like who I could have been that day. And so that has been the hardest part, is just like really trying not to get too consumed as soon as I wake up, because then it can derail the rest of the day. But it's like good stuff that's happening as well. So
Definitely builds a tolerance, hey, being a founder.
I think you can turn off emotions and make more like logical decisions, which helps in a business world. But sometimes if that comes into your personal life,
the compartmentalizing, hey, it's just like
even me and Gabe, like lately, it's like, do you need your life partner or business partner? What support mode am I in? Like literally, it's been the number one thing we've been saying lately, because it's just like, it is so true. It's you're almost going to. And I think, building a business together too, it's like we almost play similar roles but different. And so it's like, I always hear like Alex and Layla talk about this, because it's like, let's say Layla's on what she does versus Alex, like they also have different busy times in building the business. Like one could be doing an event, going hard on sales, one's while building the operations, and then it's like they have to flip. And almost when you want your attention, it's like, okay, you're busy now. But like, I think we manage that well, but that's also a new dynamic to move through.
Yeah, totally.
Well.
Totally.
Yeah.
Kudos to you guys working together.
Yeah.
I tried it with my partner, it didn't work.
No, it's been
high comms.
Yeah, it's good.
The check-ins.
Yeah. But Max, to round things out, is there anything that you feel like we haven't covered today, or that you'd love to share a message with before we wrap up today?
Anything on the Rocket side? Like, do you want to like pitch Rocket? Cool media, or like tell us a little bit more about like.
Yeah, I think
because Rocket's exciting. Like I'm excited by Rocket.
Yeah, so am I. I think we don't have to post this part. I feel like it's still, the foundations are a little not shaky. They're strong. It's just weird, because I'm so close to like being ready to like tell the world. Like I haven't posted it on my account. We definitely have to put this. We don't have to put this part in.
No, we can cut this out.
Yeah, maybe like the time it goes out though.
But that's the thing. It's like we can also choose when to post it, and could be good readiness for you.
Yeah,
so it could be in like a couple of weeks.
That's awesome.
I think we're good.
Have you had a good time on the podcast?
I have. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Yeah, it was
a lot of
amazing.
fun.
We appreciate you, and all the best for the future as well. Go on full founder mode. You've been founder mode for quite some time now, but next level as well. And very excited to be cheering you on from the side, and getting a part of that, being one of those 10,000 people crossing the line in some event as well. So all the best, and good luck to you all creating it as well.
Yeah. If anyone here is going to City to Surf, I'll see you there. We'll see you there.
Also, Max, we're totally here at the 37-kilometer mark for you. So
Oh, please. Sydney Marathon?
let us know.
Yeah? Okay. I'll be
Here to
expecting to see you there, Gabe.
Here to cheer
I'll
you
need
on
a big,
every step of the way.
a big chair. Okay.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us on the podcast, Max.
Thanks
Been
so much.
awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Cheers, guys.